Norfolk in England for the semi-final stages of the 1992 World Team Cup competition. Well, joining me in the commentary position for this one is former England international John Davis. So I think in prospect, John, is a very intriguing battle.
Yes, I think the main sort of battle really for the qualification is going to be between England and Australia. With obviously Czechoslovakia and Hungary, they're going to be there and they're going to be capable of winning races, but not really the meeting.
We look at Australia and we look at Great Britain, or England as it's known, and two very, very youthful sides.
Yeah, I think the British team really have got the edge. Although having said that, Australia obviously have got the confidence of Leigh having just won the Under-21 Championship, where he beat Joe Screen and Mark Loram, which are obviously England's very young up-and-comers. But then again, we've got Gary Havelock riding at number 16, the British team, who won the world individual title last week.
So a great track action in prospect as we look at the four nations. It's England, host nation, Czechoslovakia, Hungary and Australia. And without further ado, John and I in the commentary position. Let's go down to the track then and join the riders as they come up to the line for heat number 1. So an intriguing battle in prospect as the riders come to the line for the opening race here at Kings Lynn. The conditions are very, very damp and treacherous. A lot of rain around Norfolk throughout the course of the morning. And heat number 1, Shane Parker in red for Australia, Zdenek Tesar for Czechoslovakia in blue, Anton Koczo in white for Hungary, and Mark Loram for England in yellow and black. And throughout this meeting, Australia will be red, Czechoslovakia blue, Hungary white, and in yellow and black will be England. And this semi-final gets underway, and straight away from the outside, driving across the pack, was Mark Loram. Koczo in second place for Hungary, and John, that was a tremendous dive from the outside for Mark Loram.
Yeah, Mark made a superb start off gate 4 and got across on everybody as quickly as he could. Obviously, in these conditions, you need to be in front, otherwise you're going to get filled in. So
Loram leads. Second place, Koczo for Hungary. Third place is Tesar for Czechoslovakia, and the surprise is Shane Parker back in fourth position. As John and I commentated at the start, we thought the battle would lie between England and Australia, and somebody really wanted to get the points very, very early on, and it's Mark Loram for England who's got the bit between his teeth, and at this moment in time is looking set for 3 points in heat number 1. Mark Loram on the final lap of the opening race looks in tremendous form this afternoon. Of course, he rides here for Kings Lynn and the Home Farm League. Round the final 2 bends of Saddlebow Road to come up and take the 3 points for England. It's Loram who gets there. Second place, Koczo for Hungary. Third place, Tesar for Czechoslovakia. And John, first blood to England.
Yeah, I think that was a tremendous start for England. It was just the start they needed to boost the team's confidence. I was very surprised that Shane Parker didn't really, his challenge didn't materialise. Having said that, Mark's home track, he made a good start and he did everything that was necessary.
So congratulations to Mark Loram, the winner of heat number 1. So riders coming to line for heat 2. Jason Lyons, Australia, red. Bohumil Brhel, blue for Czechoslovakia. Josef Petrikovics for Hungary in white, and Joe Screen from Bellevue, of course, in Home Farm League for England on this occasion in yellow and black. Very interesting race indeed, and at the moment, would you say gate 4 would be quite favourable for England, John?
Yeah, I think at the moment, I think gates 1 and 4 are obviously got to be the best, especially in these conditions. Joe's not a notoriously good gator. In fact, he's sort of really not a good gator at all, but with the pressure on him, hopefully he can get across in front of them. He'll really need to make a good start off gate 3.
So here we go then for heat number 2. Another rider to watch is Bohumil Brhel, of course, for Czechoslovakia. He rides here on the Home Farm League for Kings Lynn, so keep an eye open for him. And Jason Lyons having a tremendous season for Bellevue in the Home Farm League as the tapes rise on the second heat. Into that turn they go, and it's rider in blue, Bohumil Brhel, who's got there for Czechoslovakia. So home track knowledge at this moment of time with Loram in heat 1, and now Brhel in heat number 2. Second place is Jason Lyons for Australia, and Joe Screen is going to have to make his work from the back if he's going to do anything. Coming up behind Jason Lyons, and now coming through to second place, or is he? Jason Lyons is a very tough competitor. Comes through Joe Screen with tremendous pride and glory at wearing that England race jacket this afternoon. He's through to second place. Good manoeuvre by Joe Screen there, John.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't even really see where he's going, but he showed all the determination and tenacity that he needed to, and he did just enough to pass. Actually, who was it? Sorry about this, Jason Lyons, but he rode a superb corner there. Brhel obviously putting his home track experience to good use here. He made a very good start off gate 1, and he's just gone away into the distance.
He certainly has indeed. So Bohumil Brhel looking set for 3 points in heat number 2. Comes up to take the win. It's Bohumil Brhel for Czechoslovakia, gets the 3 points. England in the shape of Joe Screen gets 2, and a very mud-splattered rider there in red, Jason Lyons, gets the 1 point for Australia. So a good win for Bohumil Brhel from Czechoslovakia, heat number 2, and that'll do him the world of good, John, in confidence.
Yeah, it'll do his confidence loads of good, but at the moment, obviously England, they've got 5 points from the first 2 races. They've got to be reasonably happy with that. Czechoslovakia, a bit of a surprise in second place on 4 points at the moment.
Riders at the line for heat number 3. Craig Boyce from Australia rides in red. Vaclav Milik for Czechoslovakia blue. Zoltan Adorjan white for Hungary. And Martin Dugard yellow and black for England. Another good racing prospect. Perhaps Boyce and Dugard the two to watch, John. Yeah,
I think obviously Craig Boyce is having a superb spell in the league at the moment. I mean, I go and watch at Pool most Wednesdays, and he is going very, very well at the moment.
So Boyce in gate number 1, Dugard in gate number 4. Watch for those two as the tapes rise on heat number 3. Clutches drop, the throttle's wide open, and yet again it is Boyce who's got there, and Dugard as expected, and Dugard as he got the drop, then the back straight. Boyce and Dugard together. Look at Boyce, goes in very hard indeed in the 3rd and 4th turn. There's nothing given in this semi-final. They both want to get through to Kumla in Sweden in 2 weeks' time for the big final, when of course it's the host nation Sweden, the mighty America, and of course the current team champions Denmark. So whichever one wins this one, it's just one only who goes through. But Boyce, that was a courageous ride from him, John, so far.
Yeah, Martin Dugard rode a very good first turn. I thought he may have just had the edge dropping down into the 3rd corner, but Craig forced him out, coming inside him very, very hard. And I think maybe Martin struggled to see where he was going at that particular time, but Boyce has ridden a very, very good race. So of course it was this track last year where Boyce had a very bad back injury in the Commonwealth final, so no nerves in heat number 3 for Craig Boyce as he comes down the final 2 bends and is going to collect 3 points for Australia, which is good news indeed for the team manager Neil Street. It's Boyce that wins. Second place goes to Martin Dugard. A long way back is Zoltan Adorjan for Hungary, who gets the solitary place for third spot for, of course, Hungary. So Craig Boyce, he must be pleased with life at the moment, and that puts Australia now level with Czechoslovakia, John. Yeah, but all the time England are in there, they're getting the second places. Okay, they didn't win that race, but I mean, they're pulling further ahead now. They're now 3 points clear, and if they can keep doing things like this, you know, they're going to be there at the end of the day. Obviously in this race, we've got the new world champion, Gary Havelock, and against the new under-21 champion, Leigh Adams, so this could be quite an interesting race. So heat number 4 features 2 world champions, as John says. Red, Leigh Adams, Australia. Blue for Czechoslovakia, Robort Matousek. Sandor Tihany in white for Hungary. Tihany. And Gary Havelock, the new world champion, in yellow and black for England. So that's the way they're up for heat number 4, with England's noses just in front, 7 to Australia and Czechoslovakia's 4. This is heat number 4. Adams in red, Havelock in yellow, and Havelock goes around the outside of Leigh Adams on the first turn. Tremendous manoeuvre we saw so often in the World Final and so many times in the Home Fire League this year. Gary Havelock, first blood to him. Leigh Adams in second place, being filled in, but a great start there for the world champion Gary Havelock, John. Yeah, he wasn't drawn off the best start, but he made a very good first 30 yards. Dropped it across Leigh, and now I think you'll find he'll just go away into the distance. He's full of confidence, and Speedway, like most sports, is a matter of confidence. So it is Gary Havelock who leads in yellow and black for England. Leigh Adams tucked in behind, going to be content, I would think, now with 2 points from this particular race. Third place, Robort Matousek for Czechoslovakia, as we enter the final lap of heat number 4. So Gary Havelock carrying on where he left off in Wrocław in Poland, set for 3 points in heat number 4. His first ride in this World Team Cup semi-final, hopefully getting his nation through to the big one in Sweden. It's Havelock's race. He gets 3 points, 2 to Australia in the shape of Leigh Adams, and 1 to Robort Matousek for Czechoslovakia for finishing in 3rd place. So a good win, and it was looking good at the moment, John, for England. 10 place 6, Australia in 2nd place. It's looking very good. Australia's challenge hasn't really materialised, but then it's very early days at the moment. Maybe the conditions are psychologically affecting them more than England. Join us for more Speedway after the break. Welcome back to Kings Lynn, and before we get underway with the next race, heat number 5, let's have a few words with England's what could be trump card tonight, reserve Kelvin Tatum.
Track-wise, it looks very greasy at the moment, causing 1 or 2 problems. Yeah, it's going to be difficult racing early on. I think if the weather stays dry, I think the track will improve as we go along, but you know, the rain and everything, I think we're quite lucky to be just to stage the meeting today.
The Aussies seem to be putting quite a good show on. I think they're maybe England's nearest rivals today.
Yeah, obviously a lot of the guys have got British League experience, and that will count for a lot today, particularly with these heavy conditions.
So obviously the name of the game, get to the World Team Cup final, and then it's a whole new ball game again. It's going to be a tough one, that.
Yeah, it is. Obviously the Swedes in their own backyard will be very hard to beat. But Kumla's a very fair racetrack, and I think that if the track's well prepared, I think it'll be one of the best meetings this year. I think it'll be an excellent meeting.
So we move on to heat number 5. Shane Parker being excluded for touching the tapes in this particular race. Bohumil Brhel is in blue for Czechoslovakia. Zoltan Adorjan white for Hungary. And Gary Havelock, winner of his race, is in yellow and black. This is heat number 5. Up with the tapes, the engines roar into action. The first one to show is the rider in blue and yellow. Gary Havelock leads. Second place, Bohumil Brhel in that order. Then the back straight. That's quite a good tussle there, John.
Yeah, Bohumil Brhel obviously was out in the dirt. He had to drop going into the third corner, but and he's got round Gary. That is a surprise. I didn't think he'd get around Gary there.
So Bohumil Brhel for Czechoslovakia leads. Gary Havelock in second place. Third, Zoltan Adorjan for Hungary, and a great ride for Bohumil Brhel, who of course yet again we mentioned he rides here for Kings Lynn, so he knows every inch of this Saddlebow Road circuit. This afternoon it's just a little bit heavy due to the rain this morning, and it's very, very windy indeed, which affects them as well. So Bohumil Brhel leads. Second place still Gary Havelock for England. And with Shane Parker out of things, John, it sort of helps our cause, England, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. We're still, you know, Gary's not winning the race, but he's getting that important second place, which obviously is going to keep England way out in front, and that's all we really need at the moment.
So around the final 2 bends of heat number 5 with no Australian rider in it. It's Bohumil Brhel for Czechoslovakia that punches the air as he crosses to get the win. 3 points to Czechoslovakia, 2 to England in the shape of Gary Havelock's second place. Zoltan Adorjan coaching around for 1 point. So 12 plays 8 in England's favour over Czechoslovakia, John, and after 5 heats I should think team managers Colin Pratt and Eric Bucock are quite happy.
Yeah, they're usually miserable. It will probably bring a smile to their faces, but yeah, things are really going England's way at the moment. Obviously the conditions are playing a large part in things with the vision. I mean, the guy that's third or whatever on the first turn, I mean, he's literally getting wiped out.
Take a look at that there, John, and you see Bohumil Brhel getting out in the dirt, getting his wheels in line, and that manoeuvre was sweet to watch, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Gary was really sort of pinned on the greasier part of the track where the dirt's moved on the inside, and Brhel just got in the dirt and got his wheels in line, and off he went.
So we move on to heat number 6. Jason Lyons, Australia in red. Zdenek Tesar in blue. Robort Nagy comes in for a reserve ride for Hungary in white. And Martin Dugard, yellow and black. So 12 plays 8 at this moment in England's favour over Czechoslovakia. Let's see what happens as tape size on heat number 6. First one that shows they go in that turn is the rider in red, Jason Lyons. A good start from Jason Lyons, but in blue, Tesar coming around the outside of him yet again. A repeat of the previous race, John.
That dirt, there's a berm line building up on the outside now, and that has got to be the place to be in the first turn, especially if you're off the outside start. It's so much of an advantage.
So Tesar leads for Czechoslovakia. Second place for Australia is Jason Lyons, and Martin Dugard being filled in by the flying dirt here at Saddlebow Road this afternoon. So England back in third place, which is not good news, John, at this moment in time.
No, it's not, but if Martin keeps plugging away, he obviously has got problems with his shoulder. He broke his collarbone twice this year. He's had it pinned, and he's lucky to be riding at all, which shows the kind of spirit in the England camp at the moment.
Very brave young rider, of course, riding for Oxford these days in the Home Far League. He's back in third place. All eyes are on Tesar, who of course rides for Ipswich, which is not too far away from Kings Lynn in the circle of Speedway. So Tesar coming around the final 2 bends off heat number 6 to pick up 3 points for Czechoslovakia, which is good news for their cause. Tesar gets there, he wins. Second place Jason Lyons, in third place Martin Dugard, and now the gap narrows between England and Czechoslovakia, John.
Yeah, I didn't really think it would be Czechoslovakia that was chasing England. I was expecting Australia to, but obviously at the moment the Czechs have had a couple of race wins in the last few heats, and their confidence will be growing immensely. Hopefully England can start putting some starts together. It's a lot of it, I think, at the moment as well, is you've got to be off the right start so you're in the right place on the first turn.
Let's go on to heat number 7. Craig Boyce rides in red for Australia, Roman Matousek blue for Czechoslovakia. Antal Koczo for Hungary rides in white, and Joe Screen, yellow and black.
Joe's off gate 1 in this race, which, you know, gate 1, if you look at there, the start is really like a quagmire where the bikes have been going over the starting grids sort of through the race, and at the moment, I would think gate 1 it may be the place to be. Hopefully it will be.
I would think probably Screen and Boyce are the two to watch in this one, John, and Boyce on the, or Boyce in. Boyce is in gate number 3, so an interesting battle here.
Yeah, if I was Joe, I'd be wanting to get across some front wheels here and head for that line of dirt on the outside.
Let's watch then as the tape rise on heat number 7, and there we see Screen going into that turn. Here we wait for Boyce to mount his challenge. He's lost out because Matousek is, Matousek goes that little bit wide, John, and leaves poor old Boyce nowhere to go.
He really didn't have anywhere to go. If you've been watching the replay here, I think you'll find Joe's coming across, as I said, for the line of dirt. Matousek sort of moved out of the way a bit, but I think that was unnecessary, and poor old Boyce here, hard riding Matousek. Matousek's totally out of control, and I think Boyce just laid it down there before he hit the fence, which really was the smart thing to do.
Of course, the rider of Craig Boyce's ability is also aware of what happened last year as well here at King's Lynn.
It's got to be in the back of his mind. I don't care how sort of brave you are, that has got to be somewhere in the back of his mind.
So the referee's decision is to exclude the rider in blue as the cause of the stoppage. Perhaps
I wouldn't be unhappy at that. I'm not saying
sure
Roman's wild, but it's got to help. It's really got to help Joe as well here.
So Screen gate 1, Koshko gate 2 white, Boyce red gate 4. This is the restart of heat number 7, and this time Screen misses the start completely. Koshko in the dirt, Boyce trying to go outside of him, failed to do so. So Koshko, the early leader for Hungary, which is a little bit of a surprise, John, to say the least.
It's very much a surprise, but Joe made the best of starts there, and he obviously got pinned going in the first turn and had to ride the slimy line around the inside, but now he's heading for the dirt.
And overcome Craig Boyce very early on, so it's Screen in second place, Boyce back in third, and probably I think Boyce a little bit shaken with that fall, but good on you, Boyce, keep going as Koshko still leads for Hungary in white, and having a little spell at the moment in time for Bradford in the Home Far League. In front, in a commanding lead at the moment over Joe Screen, or so Screen will try and mount a challenge on him. We're on the final lap now of the restart of heat number 7. Now has Joe Screen got anything left whatsoever? Koshko down the back straight for the final time. I think perhaps Screen has just got a little bit too much to do in this one. So Hungary going to get a win from the rider in white coming up. Anton Koshko gets the win. Joe Screen has to be content with third place, and Boyce coasting over for the solitary point. So a little bit of a surprise in heat number 7, John.
That's done England a few favours in a way. It's helped them sort of make the break again slightly, although they only got 2 points in that race through Joe, who I think was unlucky that he made the first start but didn't make the second one, but with the Czechoslovakians not actually getting a point in that race, it's done us some favours.
So 15 to England, 11 to Czechoslovakia, Hungary on 7 and Australia on 9. It's pretty close lower on, but England and Czechoslovakia, the early pacemakers here at Saddleborough Road this afternoon. We move on to heat number 8, which sees Leigh Adams ride in red for Australia, second place first time out. Vaclav Milik rides in blue for Czechoslovakia. Josef Petrikovics for Hungary in white, and Mark Loram, winner first time out in yellow and black. And this one could be a replay of, course, the World Under 21 final runoff for the title, John.
Yeah, but hopefully this time Mark will come out on top. It's his home track, just needs to make that start. At the moment the starts are vitally important.
So Loram off for gate number 2
yeah,
as
he's
well,
off gate
John.
2, and Leigh's off gate 3, so I mean, Mark really has got to be looking at making a start and heading for that dirt again.
Well, let's wait for the tape to rise on heat number 8, after which we'll check on the old scoreboard, and a good start for the rider in yellow and black, which is Loram, and down goes the rider in blue in an untidy heat. Is Vaclav Milik. What did you make of that incident, John?
I blinked, I really...
Let's take another look in slow motion. The rider in blue on the outside looks across at the other three, and it's fair, Loram goes out very, very, oh, and Loram takes the wheels away from the rider in blue without a question of a doubt there, John.
Yeah, you've got to be fair there. Mark did take his leg away going into the corner. Mark did the right thing. He was heading for the dirt. I mean, in this sort of meeting, you've got to do that.
Oh, surprise, surprise, the referee is calling them all four back for the rerun, and I think, to be fair,
Mark's
England,
a very lucky
lad, and so are England on that particular case. So, Leigh Adams red, Vaclav Milik back in blue, Josef Petrikovics white, Mark Loram yellow and black. The restart of heat number 8. Up go the tapes, those engines roar, and the first one to show is yellow and black Mark Loram. Leigh Adams shuts off and goes out in the dirt and gets nowhere, so Mark Loram leads down the back straight. A really good start from him though, John.
Yeah, I think Leigh had visions of him going out further than he actually went into the dirt, and he hesitated, and when he hesitated it allowed Petrikovics, I think that is, to pass
Yes,
him.
Josef Petrikovics through. Loram, a good leader at this moment in time, which is good news for England. And certainly Mark Loram with one or two things to prove, not over only Leigh Adams, but to get his name fully fledged in the England team manager's thoughts for the final test match coming up between England and the United States of America at Swindon, a meeting you can see here on Screen Sport. So Mark Loram leads. Second place in white is Josef Petrikovics for Hungary. Third place in Leigh Adams in white. Petrikovics looking over both shoulders to see where Leigh Adams is. We're on the final lap. No doubting about who's going to win this one. Mark Loram by the proverbial mile leads, and Petrikovics really now trying desperately just to keep out Leigh Adams. So coming up to take the win, it's Loram who gets there, and Petrikovics just holds on the second place. So good scrap there, John.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if Leigh was maybe not quite brave enough to go around the outside of Petrikovics. Petrikovics was looking left and right, and I think he was more worried about riding his man rather than riding his race, and I think Leigh became a bit wary of that situation.
So a good win then for Mark Loram, which means England now on 18 points. Czechoslovakia on 11, 10 for Australia and 9 for Hungary. Very close lower on, but England, John, after 8 races, have got the breathing space.
They've made the break, and that's nice to see at this time of the meeting.
There, see Gary Havelock coming up to cheer on the lads, and a good captain, I would say.
I think at the moment he's got to be ultra confident, and that confidence will rub off on the rest of the team, which obviously is good news for England.
So there we see England on 18 points, Joe Screen 4, Loram 6, Dugard 3 and Havelock on 5 points. Consistent scoring for England. They're on 18 points after 8 races and in pole position at this moment in time. Second place goes to, third place goes to Australia. They're on 10, Leigh Adams 3, Craig Boyce 4, Jason Lyons on 3, and poor old Shane Parker not having things all his own way this afternoon, failed to score and one exclusion. So Australia is on 10 points. Czechoslovakia on 11, Tesar 4, Brhel on 6, Matousek 1, and the unfortunate Milik failing to score in 2 outings. Their total is 11 points. And last but by no means least are Hungary in this semi-final of the World Team Championship. They're on 9 points. Adorjan 2, Petrikovics 2, Koczo 5. Join us for more Speedway from Kings Lynn after the break. Welcome back to Kings Lynn in Norfolk for the 1992 World Team Cup Championship semi-final. At this moment in time, England with a 7-point advantage over their nearest rivals, Czechoslovakia. Let's have a few words then with the unlucky Australian rider, Shane Parker.
Shane, everybody thought that the Australians would be the ones to push the English team today, but the Czechs have come in there all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, they're riding quite well. I mean, Bob rides the track himself, and there's Sam from Ipswich, and he knows this like his second home track, you know, and I mean, it would have been good to get off to a good start, but I mean, had a lot of rain on the track, and it was very sort of slimy and mucky when you went out there, and if you didn't make the starts, it was like, you know, you got so filled in, you've weighed about 5 kilos extra, so it sort of sent you backwards a long way.
Well, they're doing in such a grading now, maybe try and get the top surface off. Do you think that's going to help?
Yeah, I mean, if they grade it, they sort of turn the dirt over a bit, it might dry it out a bit, which make it a bit better. I mean, there's a lot of dirt out wide, and, you know, if it weren't so quiet as wet, you could most probably get a good run around the outside, you know, but at the moment, sort of, everybody's having to ride the pole. It's a bit like follow the leader.
So team managers to the forefront in heat number 9. 3 changes to the programme, replacing Shane Parker's Glenn Doyle, former Australian champion. He rides in red. Petr Vandirek for Czechoslovakia rides in blue, replacing Vaclav Milik. Robort Nagy coming in white for Hungary, and Joe Screen yellow and black. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is heat number 9. Up go the tapes, the bikes roar into that first turn, and the first one to show is red, Glenn Doyle. Doyle in red, and down goes the rider in yellow and black, Joe Screen. An unfortunate accident, John, and yet again, just drifting out wide.
Yeah, they're all heading for that piece of grip in the middle there, and obviously Joe was in the wrong place at the wrong time here. Doyle got moved out, and in turn obviously hit Joe's front wheel, and Joe came down. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, I thought I made the start. I went for the big run on the outside in the dirt. I got in the dirt and I was going round, then all of a sudden somebody moved Glenn out, Doyle, and he straightened up in front of me, and like I couldn't do anything except shut off and just head for the fence, which I hit the fence fairly hard.
Yeah, you did. You hit it with some force, and you're quite lucky to be able to walk away after that.
But it just winded me. I've just hurt me back at the bottom, and you know, just damaged a finger. But you know, it's don't put me off from riding, so I'm happy.
So nice to see Joe Screen on his feet again and able to take his place in the restart of heat number 9.
He's got a second bite of the cherry here,
He
and
certainly has, John.
Hopefully he can make the most of it.
That's right. In this sort of field, really, we should be looking for 3 points. I say England,
Definitely.
of course.
definitely.
So the rerun, of course, of heat number 9, Doyle red, Vandirek blue, Nagy white, Joe Screen yellow and black. The restart of heat number 9. The first one to show, yes, Screen gets a good start, drives around the turn, that one, and that was a sweet start, but just look at Doyle again. Doyle on the inside of him. A brave move by Glenn Doyle, but Screen keeps that throttle wide open, John.
Yeah, he had his wheels in line, he just dropped it on Glenn Doyle coming down the back straight, and obviously Doyle had to shut the throttle off.
So Joe Screen for England leads. Second place is Glenn Doyle for Australia. Petr Vandirek for Czechoslovakia in third position. But this is good news for England as they begin just to pull clear of the other three nations, which is, well, good news indeed. With the conditions they are this afternoon, it's nice to have that sort of lead under your belt. And with the way and the youthful policy that Colin Pratt and Eric Buchak are beginning to put into England these days, it's good to see as we head to the final lap of heat 9. Screened by the proverbial Marja, John, looking pretty set for 3 points.
Yeah, he's looking very, very comfortable indeed at the moment. He's just riding on the ridge of dirt there, and he's getting a very, very good ride. He looks very comfortable at home.
So 3 points for Joe Screen. He wins heat number 9. Second place goes to Glenn Doyle, and in third position goes to Petr Vandirek for Czechoslovakia. So 21 points now to England, and the nearest rivals are both Australia and Czechoslovakia, are both on 12, and Hungary on 9 points. I'm sure Joe Screen and all the England boys are very pleased with life at this moment in time, John.
Yeah, Joe's a little bit unlucky there when he came down. He obviously damaged his bike and had to change bikes, but the second bike obviously going as well as the first bike, and hopefully we can pull ahead a bit more now.
So heat number 10, Jason Lyons red, Australia, Roman Matousek blue for Czechoslovakia, Zoltan Adorjan white for Hungary, Mark Loram, 2 weight race wins to his name, is in yellow and black. This is heat number 10, and Loram on the inside on this one. Another good start from him, John.
Yeah, him and Matousek, well, it wasn't such a good start there from Mark, really, because he got tied up with Matousek on the way to the first turn.
That's something you never want to do, is it?
Definitely not, definitely not.
So coming through to take the lead in red is Jason Lyons. Now, can't Mark Loram make up any ground on him? Lyons red, Loram in second place, yellow and black, Matousek third in blue for Czechoslovakia. And Jason Lyons having one hell of a season for Bellevue in the Home Far League, the early pacemakers, and doing very nice. And I've watched him a few times this season. He certainly has grown in confidence, and I think under the likes of Sean Moran and Bobby Ott up there at Manchester with the Bellevue Aces ride, he's certainly having a good apprenticeship. But it's Jason Lyons who's going to win, I think, heat number 10 in good style, unless of course Mark Loram's got anything left. But then the back straight for the final time, I think this race is going to belong to the rider in red, Jason Lyons. So Australia looking set for 3 points in heat number 10. Lyons comes up to take the win. Lyons gets there. Second place, Mark Loram. Third place, Roman Matousek. And be fair, John, it was a good race win for Jason Lyons.
Yes, it was. I think had Joe got clear of Matousek on the way to the first turn, he'd have stood a lot better chance of catching Lyons. But Matousek got in the way. That Speedway, he rode very hard on the way to the first turn. It was unfortunate for Mark, but there we go.
So good win for Jason Lyons, heat number 10. We move on to heat number 11. And it is Glenn Doyle coming in for his second reserve ride for Australia in red, Zdenek Tesar in blue, Josef Petrikovics in white for Hungary, and Gary Havelock is in yellow and black for England. And I would think yet again, Havelock and Doyle, perhaps the two to watch, with Tesar thrown in as a spoiler.
I think Tesar's very underrated. He could well be a spoiler, but Havelock should have this one his own way.
So the race underway, heat number 11, Havelock on the outside, driving round. All of them, what a sweet manoeuvre by the current world champion. Class, confidence, determination oozing out of him there, John.
He's looking very, very classy, and he's obviously on the crest of a wave at the moment.
So, Gary Havelock leads. Second place in white is Petrikovics. Glenn Doyle in red coming around the outside of Tesar. Good move by Glenn Doyle, the former Australian champion. Got his sights now set on Josef Petrikovics. Gary Havelock unaware of what's going on behind him. Petrikovics in white, Doyle in red. Watch for these two in heat number 11. Oh, and Doyle goes over the white line but comes through to take second place. So Doyle now through to second place for Australia, which is going to do their cause a world of good. We enter the final lap of heat number 11 with Gary Havelock, the easy leader, and unaware of what was going on behind him, but a great move by Glenn Doyle took him through to second place over Petrikovics. But coming around to take the win for England is the world champion himself, Gary Havelock, that gets there. Second place, Australian Glenn Doyle. And in third place, coming through, Zdenek Tesar for Czechoslovakia. Good scrap there, John, from minor places.
Yeah, I think Glenn Doyle there really, that's the best ride I've seen him have for a very long time. He went over the white line going in the first turn, but only with his front wheel, which obviously is allowed. And he rode an intelligent, hard race, and all credit to him.
So after heat number 11, England on 26, 17 to Australia, 14 Czechoslovakia and Hungary on 9. We move on to heat number 12, which sees Leigh Adams ride in red for Australia. Bohumil Brhel rides in blue for Czechoslovakia. Anton Koshko in white for Hungary. Martin Dugard is replaced by Kelvin Tatum. And a tactical ploy by the England camp is Tatum hits the front, John.
Yeah, he made a good start. He's renowned as being a good starter, but Leigh's ridden right around the dirt line and got in front going down the back straight.
So Leigh Adams leads, the current world under-21 champion, who of course took that title in Pfaffenhofen in Germany. And I don't recommend you try and say that after about 4 points of Stella. But it is Leigh Adams who leads. Second place is Kelvin Tatum for England. Third position, Anton Koshko for Hungary. But Leigh Adams, a very classy rider and very young, John.
Yeah, he rides the same club as me at Swindon. Obviously I see a lot of him. I think he's a very, very classy rider. He's sometimes a little suspect when people get physical on the track. But at the moment he's putting a very, very good 4 laps together here. Going a little bit wide there, but he's out in the dirt.
Nearly the John Davis kiss of death. But it's Leigh Adams down the back straight for the final time for Australia leads heat number 12. Still in second place is Kelvin Tatum for England, just making sure that Leigh Adams doesn't go to sleep. But coming up to take the win is Adams that gets there. Second place is John Davis, and in third place is John Davis. Second place to Kelvin Tatum. I've got you on your brain, sir. And in third place for Hungary is Anton Koshko. But a good win for Leigh Adams from the back over Kelvin Tatum. So the scores on the board: England now with an 8-point lead over Australia, and then 6 points behind further Czechoslovakia. And the two nations beginning to pull away, John.
Yes, they are. Originally, as we thought, they were going to be the two main nations. Australia had a bad start, which obviously was England's good fortune, really, because they've consolidated a sort of reasonable lead now.
Good scoring too, Joe Screen, Mark Loram.
They're very solid.
Very solid.
They're
indeed.
very solid.
Australia on 20, and as we thought, Jason Lyons, Boyce and Adams doing the bulk of the scoring.
Yeah, Craig started off well when it was a bit wet and heavy, but Leigh's starting to come good now. So I don't think England are totally clear yet, but I think they're on their way.
Czechoslovakia, Tesar on 5 and Bohumil Brhel doing a very good job for them on 6. Their total after 12 heats is 14 points, and really it's fair to say they're just in spoiling things now for the other nations. They are fading.
They're definitely fading.
At Hungary, the last nation on 10 points, Zoltan Adorjan 2, Koshko on 6, Petrikovics 2. Join us for the conclusion of this World Team Cup semi-final after the break. Welcome back to Kings Lynn in Norfolk for the conclusion of this World Team Cup semi-final. One nation only going forward to the big one in Kumla, Sweden. In 2 weeks' time will they take on Sweden, host nation, America and the reigning champions Denmark. Heat 13, Jason Lyons red, Petr Vandirek blue, Anton Koshko is in yellow-black, and Gary Havelock, in yellow-black is Gary Havelock, Koshko in white, and a good gate by Gary Havelock is seen into the forefront early on in this race. Jason Lyons making up tremendous ground in second position. Vandirek, the reserve, coming in, being replaced, should I say, with Milik, who is the unfortunate rider. So a few problems for Czechoslovakia, but they are out of things along with Hungary at the moment. All eyes are on Australia and England, who are still the pacemakers here, as expected at the start of this programme. But Gary Havelock, John, at this moment in time, has got things all his own way.
Yes, he has. Lyons rode a good first 2 laps and made up quite a bit of ground, or pulled himself clear of the other two, but he's not really making too much of an impression on Gary at the moment, and you wouldn't really expect him to.
So the final lap of heat number 13, Gary Havelock, the current world individual speedway champion. And for everybody at Screen Sport, Gary, many, many congratulations, and let's hope you have a good year as a world champion. Havelock leads, coming around the final 2 bends, coming up to take the 3 points in this semi-final, heat number 13. Havelock's race, second place goes to Jason Lyons for Australia. Anton Koshko gets 1 point in white for finishing in third position. So 31 points to England, 22 to Australia. And dare we say, John, as early as heat 13 that England are nearly there?
I think we're nearly there. I don't know mathematically. I haven't sat and worked it out exactly how many points we do need, but we're looking better with every race now.
Certainly are. Heat number 14 next in Shane Park. Let's hope his fortunes improve after a bit of a disastrous start by his standards. Shane Parker rides in red, Roman Matousek blue, Josef Petrikovics is in white, and reserve Kelvin Tatum coming out yet again, John.
Yeah, I think Martin's obviously feeling the heavy going with his shoulder, and they've decided to bring Kelvin in, which I don't think is a silly thing to do. He's obviously very experienced, a good gator, and you need to gate in these conditions.
Let's watch then for the tapes to rise on heat number 14. Up they go, and into that turn they roar, and number 20 on his back, it's Kelvin Tatum who's got there. Tatum leads, Matousek and Parker out of the road. Matousek very nearly coming down, and I should think he'll be counting them when he gets back to the pits to see if they're both still there. But it is Tatum who leads, Parker in second place, Matousek third, in that order, on lap number 2 of heat number 14. But Tatum, as John says, a very useful reserve to have. I remember a couple of years ago in Mariestad, Sweden, when America named Sean Moran as their reserve, and he went to a 15-point maximum on that occasion, which took America through to the World Team Cup Championship on that occasion. So is Kelvin Tatum's points going to be the difference between success and failure at the end of this afternoon's World Team Cup semi-final? Tatum leads on the final lap. Still Shane Parker in second place, Roman Matousek third. Parker just making his presence felt, saying to Tatum, hey fella, I'm still here. Tatum goes out in the dirt, drives up to take the win. Tatum gets to second place for Parker, third place goes to Roman Matousek, and in the end, John, a comfortable win for Kelvin Tatum.
Yes, it was. I wouldn't say it was too comfortable the last lap or so with Shane chasing him there. I mean, Shane, when he made the ground up and he made his challenge, he made all his ground up on the outside in the dirt, and then he dropped to the inside and lost it all again. But you know, I guess he made the choice, but I think when you made all the ground up on the outside, you don't drop to the inside then.
There we go. Heat number 15 is next on the agenda, which sees Glenn Doyle coming in to replace Craig Boyce for Australia's point of view. He's in red, Bohumil Brhel in blue for Czechoslovakia, Robort Nagy in white, and Mark Loram is in yellow and black. And Loram looking very, very fast indeed this afternoon, John.
Yes, he is. The two home riders obviously on the outside, or the riders that ride here every weekend for Kings Lynn are on the outside. It should be an interesting first corner, I think.
Heat number 15, green lights on, up go the tapes, the engines roar into action. Loram and Brhel going again, but it's Loram who's got there. Doyle is there as well, and Brhel just going a little bit wide. So Mark Loram with the initiative down the back straight. Glenn Doyle in second position. Third is Robort Nagy at this moment. Oh, Loram does the wheelie over the line, and Glenn Doyle is not that far behind, John.
No, he's not. Glenn Doyle's riding very, very well this afternoon. He's riding aggressively, and he's putting in some good races. Very tough rider indeed, and he comes through to take the lead at this moment in time. A good bend there from him. He's riding aggressively, I said it.
You said it indeed. And look at Loram coming back round the outside of him. Well, a rider with the confidence of Mark Loram, not only his home track advantage, but second in the World Under-21 Championship. One more lap to go, and have we got anything left? Loram leads, Doyle on the inside of him. Doyle looks over his shoulder to see who else is coming through, but Loram now surely with its race round the final two bends of a classic heat number 15. Getting his wheels in line, it's Loram who gets the 3 points. Doyle has to be content with 2, and Robort Nagy gets the 1 point. But a great scrap there, John.
Yeah, I don't think Mark really even realised that Glenn Doyle was there until he came steaming up the inside of him like that. And I think he was getting a little bit complacent there, but he soon woke up.
So 11 points between England now and Australia, which is a breathing space at this moment in time. But Mark Loram really is firing well. Let's take another look, John, at this one.
Yeah, it's the corner before, actually, where Glenn Doyle passed him, and he came right up alongside Mark, and I don't think Mark even knew he was there, but he rode a superb corner there, just running for the dirt and beating Doyle to the dirt.
So heat 16 sees Leigh Adams riding red for Australia, blue Zdenek Tesar, Zoltan Adorjan white for Hungary, Joe Screen yellow and black for England. Heat 16. And after this, we'll be having counting down, because in heat 17, 18, 19 and 20, it's the riders that finish in various positions in their score chart which takes their place. I'll tell you more after heat number 16 as the riders go out of the start, and the first to show is Leigh Adams and the rider in blue, Zdenek Tesar, but Leigh Adams has got there and Screen comes up the inside of him, but Adams is where the dirt is. He's got pole position. Joe Screen going to have to come from the back, John, in this one.
Yeah, his grass track experience is certainly coming into use here. He's right out in the dirt there with his wheels in line.
So Leigh Adams red, Joe Screen, who of course finished in third place in that World Under-21 final, now making his presence felt on Leigh Adams and comes through to take the lead. What a sweet manoeuvre, John, from Joe Screen.
That was a superb manoeuvre. He's definitely riding right on the edge there, and he's totally on the limit, but he's in control, and that's the main thing.
So Screen set for England for another 3 points. And well, we're looking ahead to that World Team Cup final, John, as England get nearer to it, and we have to say that perhaps the Americans are going to be the team to beat at the moment.
I wouldn't rule England out the way they're riding today. If they can just sort of channel their enthusiasm and the form that they have at the moment, the thing to do is to hang on to it. It's all on the day, but if they can keep going the way they're going today, they'll certainly be there or thereabouts at, in the final reckoning.
So Joe Screen gets the 3 points, 2 for Leigh Adams in Australia and 1 for Tesar, finishing in 3rd position. So, without further ado, let's have a few words with the Australian chump. He's a reserve card, and that's the former champion, Glenn Doyle.
Glenn, fabulous race you had with Mark Loram. That was really touch and go out there.
Yeah, I was a silly boy. I'd done the hard work up the top bend and just give it back to him back here, but it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Mark enjoyed it. It's nice to see some nice racing that, that's not, that's hard, but, it's proper racing. It's nothing dirty about it, and that's what Speedway's all about.
So we take another look at that manoeuvre which brought Joe Screen those 3 points in heat number 16, and round Leigh Adams it was, fair to say, John, quite easy.
Well, it probably wasn't if you were when you're watching it, but if you're sitting where Joe was, he was totally in control. He was right on the edge of the dirt. Leigh probably wasn't quite wide enough, and Joe took full advantage, and it was a superb corner.
Heat number 17, which sees the riders that finished in last position in the score chart. Shane Parker in red for Australia, Petr Vandirek blue for Czechoslovakia, Robort Nagy white Hungary, Kelvin Tatum yellow and black the reserve for England. Up go the tapes, and the first to show is a rider, Petr Vandirek for Czechoslovakia, Nagy for Hungary there as well, which is a bit of a surprise, John.
It certainly is, but he's been having a good season at Glasgow in the National League, and yeah, he's improving. I think he's probably riding as one of the better Hungarians now.
So it is Vandirek who leads for Czechoslovakia, Nagy in 2nd position for Hungary. Kelvin Tatum trying desperately to go in the dirt to make up room on Nagy, not doing a that bend. Vandirek leads, Nagy in 2nd place, Tatum in 3rd, Parker 4th for Australia. In that order as they go down the back straight, and this is really a little bit fair to say a turn up for the books in heat number 17. The minor two countries having a big say in this one. We're on the last lap, Vandirek leads, Nagy in 2nd place. Parker coming underneath Kelvin Tatum to try and get 3rd position for Australia. There's no doubt whatsoever who's going to win this one. It's Czechoslovakian rider Petr Vandirek who's going to take the win, and to the line it is Nagy 2nd, but Shane Parker comes through to take Kelvin Tatum for 3rd position. A bit of a turn up, John, for the books in heat 17.
Well, it's a good job it wasn't the last heat decider, wasn't it? I mean, you definitely have put money on Kelvin to win that race, but things went against him. He didn't make a good start off of 4. Whoever was on gate 3 gave him a bit of a rough ride to the first turn. But that's the way it is, He tried very, very hard, and he got caught out by Parker, I think it was, on the last corner.
There we see the manoeuvre that took Parker to 3rd position, cuts underneath the gap left by Kelvin Tatum.
He was going for the gap, wasn't he?
Going for the gap. Heat number 18, Glenn Doyle rides in red, who we've just heard from. Roman Matousek blue, Josef Petrikovics is in white, and in yellow and black, Joe Screen. So Petrikovics 2 on the trot for him, John.
Yeah, I think he's not going too badly at all at the moment.
He certainly isn't indeed, but there's a rider in yellow and black, Joe Screen, who dices with him at the first turn and gets there. Coming through, Glenn Doyle again, and it's fair to say Glenn Doyle and Joe Screen have both given us some tremendous entertainment this afternoon.
Yes, they have. I mean, Petrikovics there made the start, and I think it was Glenn Doyle where he ended up going way past the corner and in no man's land, and Glenn Doyle rode another very, very good corner to take advantage of the situation. So
Joe Screen looking good again for England's cause. He leads. 2nd place is Glenn Doyle for Australia, which is, well, the 2 nations we fancied most, but England now set to go to Sweden. They're there. They're through to the big one in Kumla, where they take on Sweden as host nations, America, and of course the current champions Denmark. And well, a very brave man who would bet against England on their form and the youthful side they've got as we enter the last lap of heat number 18. And as you say, youth is on England's side, John.
Most definitely. Colin Pratt and Eric Bucock have taken some stick from various sides with sticking with the youngsters, but today who can argue with them? They've put the rides together, they've got the points, and they've done the business. And
so Joe Screen gets 3 points in heat number 18, 2 goes to Glenn Doyle for Australia, and 1 for Roman Matousek. And it's fair to say, as John says, England's youthful policy paying off, and I'm sure the team managers of Colin Pratt and Eric Bucock are well pleased with life. There we see the lead now 12 points over Australia, and with 2 heats to go, it's really plain sailing for the England team. We move on to heat number 19, the penultimate race, which sees Zoltan Adorjan for Hungary in white, Mark Loram yellow and black for England, Zdenek Tesar in blue for Czechoslovakia, and Jason Lyons in red for Australia. So let's see if Mark Loram can end up with a win, John.
Yeah, it'd be a nice way for him to finish, but I'm sure even if he doesn't make the start, he'll be chasing very, very hard. the dirt line now it's becoming very, very important to get on that ridge of dirt that's there. Most of the passing that's been done is where people have moved off the dirt line when they've been in front, and the guy behind's taken full advantage.
So into the turn they speed, and it is Loram who's got them coming around the outside of him. Is Jason Lyons for Australia. Good manoeuvre by Lyons. He gets into first position. Second place, Mark Loram. Well, I should imagine at this stage, John, now it's fair to say that is he going to make any silly manoeuvres or just wait for the rider in front to make a mistake?
I think if I was Mark, I'd be waiting for the guy to make a mistake in front, but Mark's he's a 100% racer. It doesn't matter if he races for 4.5 laps, and that's it. You see now, I mean, there's no thought about settling for second place.
He's going for gold, as they say. Still it is Jason Lyons who leads. Mark Loram in second position, going out into the dirt, failing to make up any ground on that one. One more lap to go. Still in third position is Tesar for Czechoslovakia, but all eyes are on the man in pole position who's going to do Australia's cause a world of good to bump their score up even further. So coming around to take the win for Australia, Jason Lyons who gets there. Second place for Mark Loram, and in third place, Zdenek Tesar for Czechoslovakia. So a good win for Australia's cause, and it ends a good, what a good season for them, really, John, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I mean, they didn't start this meeting too well, but they've come back in the second half of the meeting, and they've made second place their own. If they'd started off better, maybe the the scores would be a lot closer now. But perhaps they were psyched out a bit more by the heavy conditions early on.
So number 20, Gary Havelock, England in yellow and black. Leigh Adams, Australia, red. Bohumil Brhel, blue. Czechoslovakia. Antal Koczo for Hungary in white. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is the final race, heat number 20. Into that first turn they speed, and it is Havelock who pushes the bunch wide. Havelock leads, coming around the outside in blue for Czechoslovakia, and making his presence felt is Bohumil Brhel. Another brave ride for the Czechoslovakian who races here for Kings Lynn. What a great ride from him, John.
Yeah, he certainly made the most of going around the outside there. I thought he was going to go too far on the third and fourth corner, but Gary's coming back at him now, and I think you'll find Gary will actually challenge him and pass him.
So Gary Havelock now comes through to take first place yet again. Havelock leads. Second place goes to Bohumil Brhel. Third position is Leigh Adams, trying to make impression now on Bohumil Brhel from Czechoslovakia. But all eyes on the current World Speedway champion in yellow and black, Gary Havelock, who looks set for 3 more points for England in the final race, heat number 20.
Bo was almost going too wide there for the dirt. He wasn't just getting in it, he was going too far, and it's an adverse camber at Kings Lynn, and once you get over the top of it, it drags you towards the fence and you lose momentum, and that was really what happened then to Bohumil Brhel, and Gary just rode a superb corner.
So Havelock gets the 3 points to England's quest here and puts them through to Kumla in Sweden, and his captain, what a fitting moment for him to win that final race. Havelock takes the 3 points to go to second man Bohumil Brhel, and Leigh Adams has to be content with 1 point. So it's England that cruised through in the end on 48 points, 35 to Australia, 23 to Czechoslovakia and 14 to Hungary, and I suppose it's fair to say, John, as we take another look at that ferocious first turn of heat 20.
Watch Bohumil Brhel here. I mean, he really goes for it around the outside. He has got no doubt in his mind that he is going to be in front when he comes off that corner.
There we see him go around the outside of Gary Havelock.
I think he surprises Gary here.
You're probably right. Gary Havelock with the middle of the table, middle of the line here at Kings Lynn. So let's have a few words then with the man who's made it possible to go through to Kumla, the England captain, Gary Havelock.
Right, Gary, another gold medal. It's getting to be a bad habit of yours.
I wouldn't exactly call it a bad habit, more like a good habit, but yeah, it's great, you know. This one was a bit of a worry to me. Everyone was really sort of come here thinking, oh, this is easy, you know, but obviously the other teams came here to try and beat us because we were the favourites, and you know, the boys did an excellent job. They never left the man, kept the man on the job all day, and you know, now we're through to Sweden, we're back in with it.
Yeah, so what do you think? You've ridden Kumla before?
Yeah, I've ridden Kumla before. It's a great racetrack. I think it'll suit me, it'll suit a few of our boys, and you know, it doesn't necessarily mean we'll have the same team there as we've had here today. Obviously we're going to pick the team which is going best at the time and which we think can do the best job at Kumla, but certainly we'll be going there to win.
So wise words from the captain of England, and there we see on their 48, Joe Screen 13, Loram 13, Havelock on 14, Dugard 3 and Tatum 5. And John, you've been into World Team Cup winning sides for England, and what's your thoughts on that performance?
I think today they've outlined the fact that they're going to be a very big threat in the final. I think maybe the American team is going to be the pre-meeting favourites, but there's no way you must rule England out. And obviously Sweden, they're going to be in their own backyard. Their confidence is going to be very, very high, so it's going to be an excellent final.
So on behalf of Tommy Randers and Transmission and TV Media, this is Clive Fisher and John Davis of Screen Sports saying thanks for your company and goodbye from Kings Lynn in Norfolk.